Hello, hello, hello. So, this is a review video. I have just pulled up a rec from my good German friend SemperBlender, aka Lucas. And he told me he had a good game where he played as the Goths. And as you can see, this is 2v2. He has teamed up with the Teutons, and they're up against Italians and Romans. Just to give a little bit of a background here, the two of us has been talking for a few weeks at this point about how it would be cool for us to review each other's games, for the specific reason that it's quite clear that we have very different skill sets when it comes to AoE 2. I am quite clearly a bit stronger when it comes to early game builds and executions, and he is very clearly better when it comes to late game, getting the army out, actually engaging with the enemy, keeping the population high, and all the stuff that makes you a good late game player. So if I look at his games, I can probably pick out a few things that he could do better when it comes to early game, and vice versa. He can pick at my stuff and tell me what I should do better when it comes to late game. So that's the idea. I'm opening here by looking at his Goth game. This will be the first of perhaps several, but at least we're gonna give this a shot with the first one. We're gonna spectate with capture age because that gives us some more data. And now I have to remember to change my feed in OBS. So I'm gonna pause this as I get it. I guess it pauses on its own while it's loading capture age. Okay, let's hop to OBS, window capture, and let's get capture age in there. Does this work? Not at the moment. Hopefully that's just because it's loading. There we go. All right. So let me just pause this for a moment and see what's up. This looks like coastal. And we have the blue player over here, which is the Teuton player. And then we have SemperBlender over here as the green Goths. And then the opponents over here. Interesting how red has this super duper easy wall. I guess everyone has easy walls, to be fair. Yellow is probably the most open. Yellow and blue. Semper also has a pretty easy walling here, which should be nice as a Goth player, given that you probably want to try to reach for late game. Just in general, I think the conventional wisdom on the Goth play on, I guess you can call this a land map, even if there is water, most of the engagements, the decisive engagements, will, I'm guessing, probably happen on land. I guess there could be like a cannon galleon play and stuff like that, but that's not my forte anyway. I'm going to talk about primarily the early game. So what do you want to open with the Goths is you could do a lame, obviously, because getting more meat is always nice because you have longer lasting meat. So stealing a boar is more valuable with the Goths. Or you can do this villager forward thing, since you get an instant loom. You can pick up loom early, go forward, and do shenanigans like killing a boar, killing deer, walling in stuff. Personally, I'm not a fan of walling in. I think that is a waste of resources in most cases. At least on normal maps where you have like 2 golds, are you going to wall in both golds? Otherwise, it makes no sense because the other player will always have a gold. Walling in berries just doesn't make sense, especially not on the water map where you want to fish anyway. Like, you're kind of just helping the other player, showing him that he shouldn't go mill, he should go water instead, which otherwise is something people might not be able to figure out. So yeah, I don't know about the forwarding idea here. I personally would maybe consider a traditional lame with the scout, but some people consider that mean. So I don't know. If you're playing standard, then you're probably going for some infantry play. It's hard not to play infantry in Feudal Age with the Goths because that's your bonus, right? Like there's not really, well, I was about to say there's not really an eco bonus because I'm so used to saying that. That's not true anymore with the hunt lasting longer bonus. That's actually a pretty solid early eco bonus for the Goths now. The Goths have become much better early game than they used to be. So you can definitely do things with that. But that also lends itself to infantry play though, because you get the extra food, which is what you primarily need to make men-at-arms. So you can do infantry play, or with the extra food, you can also make scouts. Nothing wrong with scouts here. And well, if you want to play archers, nothing wrong with the archers. They're also fully upgraded all the way through Castle Age. So you have lots of options. But you probably want to do something like the standard lower level mistake that people do with Goths, in my experience, is that they think they can just surf to Imperial Age and then spam infantry. Right? That doesn't work. You have to do something, otherwise you're gonna die. Obviously, here there is water as well, so you could try to take the fight on water. You can wall off, like we said, really easily, and then maybe there's a water fight. Now I'm trying to kind of predict what's going to happen here, but I just want to get into the thought process of what he might be thinking going into this game. And especially after he's scouting a little bit, obviously we can see the whole map. He will have to scout it to see that he has this super easy wall off. That might affect what he's thinking when it comes to early strategy. But so that's it about like high level strategy. Let's go into the minutia. That's what I really want to talk about, the small things. And just to get to the first thing I see right away, this is not standard build. And I don't think this is optimal. He's building one house with each villager. I get what he's thinking. He's thinking this is optimal usage of villager time. Because if you put two villagers on one house, then you're wasting villager time because one of the villager is building at a lower pace. Because you are penalized for putting more villagers on the building. Obviously, the building goes up faster in absolute terms, but you're wasting villager time because it's not double, right? It's less than double by using two villagers to build. However, the goal here is to get as much resources as possible so that you can get to feudal age as fast as possible. And then you don't really care if you're building the houses fast. You want to get the villagers to collect food as soon as possible. And it takes longer for them to build 3 houses than to build 2. And you don't really need that third house in quite a while. And you also don't want it, ideally, around the town center. You want to delay it so that it can be built somewhere else where it has more value. So I think the standard approach of doing 2 villagers on one house and then 1 on the other one is better for those reasons. So that's it about the houses. Let's see what happens next. Okay, so it's sending 1 sheep up to be eaten. That's obviously good. No initial sheep scouting. I don't know if you'll get to that. I think sheep scouting is a little bit overrated. Like some people think it's the sign of a good player. I think there are other things that are much more important than sheep scouting. But obviously, it's better to sheep scout than to not sheep scout, all else equal. But if there's even the slightest chance that you're going to run out of food under your town center because you're sheep scouting, I don't think you should do it. But he's doing it, and as long as he keeps his TC fed, that's fine. So far, all good. I think maybe I will turn off... I never get this right. How do I change the fog of war so that I get the right player here? Because I think blue is like my main player now. Okay, I'm even on the wrong team. How do I change? Click to change the color of this player? No, that's not what I want to do. Cycle mode. Here. Shift right click on player building to change player. Okay. Shift right click. Nice. And then I get both teams, obviously, because they're sharing vision. Okay, let's go. Okay, so he has already seen this wall off. Okay, communication. Nice. My civ is shit for water. True. So is his opponent to about the same degree, I would say. But I guess he's not saying you should go water. He's saying we should focus land, which I pretty much agree on. Okay, here's another thing I want to comment on, and I used too much time talking, so I need to pause. Otherwise, the game is going to run away from me. I think... oh, words. I think the straggler trees should be left alone. He is building the camp, which I agree with, but I think these guys should also go straight to a big wood line. One, that's more efficient because there's a little bit of walking here. In this case, that's very insignificant, but there is some walking. If you get the lumber camp all the way up to the wood line, you can stand right next to the wood line and there's zero walking. But more importantly, you don't want to eat all your straggler trees. I don't know why that word is so hard to remember. You don't want to eat your or chop your straggler trees unless you have to, because they are a nice emergency source of wood. You never know what happens. You could get all your wood lines towered and locked down by archers or whatever, and the straggler trees might be what saves you. And there's also no benefit in taking them over the lumber camp, so why would you? Is he taking boar? Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, okay. This is obviously because of the Goth bonus. He's forgetting that he's killing the boar faster. That is like the anti-bonus bonus. It usually causes more trouble than benefit. But that's just... it happens. It has happened dozens, literally dozens of times with me. Even if I play random Civ all the time, only the random times I've been assigned Goths, still, I'm sure this has happened dozens of times. Which tells you how often this happens when people play Goths. Obviously, it's not optimal to kill more birds with one stone, despite what the proverb tells us. Keep one animal dying at the same time, or dead at the same time. That can be done with shift queuing villagers under the TC. Just keeping on top of that. Now, the straggler tree chopping is really starting to have an effect, right? Like, this is a lot of walking. This is resource scattered over time really falling because of this. Time to bring in the next boar. Yeah, it's about right. A little bit early because these boar are unusually close compared to what they would normally be on Arabia or a map like that, but it's not too bad. He is on 60 food here, 70, 60 food, so it's okay. A bigger problem is all this birds laying and rotting on the ground, but game is lagging. Okay. But not too bad. What is going on with all these houses, by the way? What is Yeah, so we're on 50 house capacity out of 36. Really? No, this is a team, right? How can I see just one player? Is that up here? No. Okay, I guess I can count. So we're on 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That'll be 30. Can I see this in a better way? I just don't know how to use this. I can cycle. Oh, that's convenient. Okay. No, that's changing the color. I don't want to do that. He used to be red, right? Let's stick to that. There we go. Where do I see players' individual housing capacity and population? Is that not possible? Ugh. Okay, maybe not. Can I change what I see here? Number of kills? No, because the population is usually up here, right? But this is team. Oh, here. Here, of course. Okay, so green has 17 villagers. 3 in the queue. 1 scout. So that's 18 pop. So 30 pop space is a little bit more than what is needed. Technically. But that is tiny, tiny detail. Could this wood have been used differently? Yes, he probably. Even if he's giving up on water, which he has already stated that he does, I think you should usually always fish on a water map like this, where there's this much fish. Even if you build just like 3 fishing boats and fish until they get destroyed in Feudal Age, I think it's still worth it. I'm not sure. I've heard T90 say that with great certainty. I don't know if he's to be trusted on that exact detail, but I do, because fishing boats are really effective and the fish is really close to the shore here. So I think that wood is better spent on a dock and a handful of fishing ships. Well, if you do that, you also have to build the houses, obviously, because you're gonna have more pop. But then it's clearly worth it. Let's move on. I keep touching tab, so the map flickers. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think so far the most important thing here to increase the efficiency in the early game is to use shift clicking under the TC to avoid this mass slaughter of animals. And on a map as closed as this, where the scout doesn't necessarily have to go forward and like find out everything the opponent is doing, because you can just wall off and then be relatively safe against anything incoming. I think it's worth pushing the deer, even if they're like fairly far away, to use the scout in that way instead of, I don't know if this is auto scouting, but yeah, I think pushing the deer, or ibex, I guess in this case, would have been better. If that is not something that the player likes to do, I think a mill is worth it. Like, how much wood? Like, I don't know where I see things here. How can I can't see how much wood he has in the stockpile, I guess. But with this many people on wood, I would think that there is enough wood available for a mill down here. Yeah, and this is kind of chaotic with 2 ibex down at the same time. Pushing would definitely have been better, but mill is almost as good. But killing 2 ibex at the same time, let alone all the walking from long distance, is not great. Okay, scaring away this annoying yellow scout there. That's good. Don't walk for too long though, because then you get too much idle time. But this is obviously annoying. Remember that as a Goth player, you have essentially free loom because you're not paying for the time in the TC because it's instant. So the moment you see a cheeky scout like that, you want to pick up loom if you haven't already done it. There's really no reason not to just do it right away. Let's pause and take a little look here at what's going on. This mining camp is a little misplaced. Mining camps should be one tile away from the mine. I see how it's tempting to like catch them all here between the two mines, but mines last for so long that it's not like you're gonna eat this fast and then everyone's gonna migrate over here right away. It's gonna take a long time for the all is gold to disappear, and it's 100 wood. It's super cheap. Directly opposite to this approach, I often build one mining camp here, and then not too long after, I'll build a mining camp on the other side, just to avoid the bumping. Instead of having people all the way around here, all trying to get to the mining camp on this side, just slap one mining camp on each side. It's just wood. Like, wood is so easy to get to, and 100 wood is essentially nothing. And for the same reason, I'm not a big fan of this barracks, because it's closing off a lot of the surface area that you could use to mine on the other side of this one. Just a couple of comments there on that camp. Then have a look at the farms. They are built at, what is the time? 11:30. I guess a handful of farms at 11:30 is fine. It's really frustrating that I don't know how to see the resources in the stockpile, because that really indicates what the plan is here and like where we are on our way to whatever we're trying to do. But at least we can look at the population, which is 25, 2 in queue on our way up to feudal age. So that indicates a fast castle. And 4 farms on a fast castle is fine. And when you don't push the deer, it's probably necessary. So yeah, that's fine. Assuming this is going to be a fast castle. Again, that's fine. When you actually, that's great. When you don't do anything on water and up against civs that could potentially take advantage of water, they are not, interestingly. No one's on water, which is quite surprising, especially from the Italians. And they're, oh, he is on water. Sorry, never mind. The Italian is on water. It would have been super strange if he wasn't. He is mining shorefish though, or not mining. He is fishing shorefish, which he should not be doing because it's super slow. But he is at least on water. But the point is, our friends in blue and green here are going fast castle, which is good, because then you can put land pressure on, and the extra fish is not going to save their opponents if they get a castle slapped in their face or something like that. It's a little bit laggy, but that's fine. Okay, so we have feudal age. I assume we're going to get some... Where are we being attacked? Oh, we're in here with militia. I didn't even see that. It's because I'm blind. Okay, nice, nice, nice. No loom, right? This is no loom. 25 HP. Nice. Okay, I've been critical so far. Now I'm gonna be commending Semper here. This is absolutely great. Just get in there with that Goth infantry that you pay nothing for and slapped his villagers in the face. Perfect. As we talked about in the beginning, you probably want to use infantry because they're cheap, and it is not that unlikely that you're going to do damage. Especially on a map like this, where the opponent is likely to go water. Now, the twist of events here, red is actually not on water, so you could imagine that he would be better prepared for this by having army instead, but he was outproduced by the Goths, not a big surprise when both players are choosing to go infantry. Red is Roman, so he's also incentivized to go Roman. Go infantry, obviously. So I'm not really too critical of the fact that this is not going to be a fast castle then. At least not like a straight fast castle. He's obviously spending food on infantry instead, so that is understandable. I'm actually not sure what I think about the fact that he goes 25 pop with the infantry. It's obviously going to be a little bit later than if you do something like a 22 or a 21, which should be possible, especially with Goths, where you don't need as much resources to make the infantry come out. But hitting with 5 instead of like 2, like Hera would say, oh, you gotta go earlier because you can't like lose your window and whatever. But hitting with a lot often has a much better effect than hitting with like 2 or 3. Hitting with 5 instead of 3, you're more likely to do damage. So at our level, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is a bad approach. It all depends, right? It all depends. The flood of infantry just keeps on going, which is great. Again, it's so cheap that, like, why not? You can probably do this and still go up. Infantry is coming out and villagers are coming out. Okay, so now the archers are here. Now you gotta choose. Either you commit and just try to run the archers down and hope that the other dude is not microing. It's probably not the best approach. Or you're gonna go skirms. Please help me, he says. Okay, so he's relying on blue to help. Probably okay. Yeah, if blue has lots of scouts, he's going bloodlines. Okay, yeah, scouts will clear up the archers. If it's only 3 or 4. So that's fine. And yeah, Semper is also thinking skirms here probably with the range. And a tower. Okay, I like the tower. Tower is nice. Towers are underestimated by a lot of people. They're too deep into the thought of like, oh no, I can't spend my stone because I need the 2 town centers. You don't need the 2 town centers if you're dead. So rather build the tower. I love it. Okay, going. Blue's coming. Nice, nice. Good team communication here. And yeah, Semper is just building up his eco behind this, and he has done damage. Nice stuff. And skirms are coming out. They have the attack upgrade. Fletching coming in first before armor. I think you want... Well, I don't know. If you are behind on the skirms, like here, where the other player has a lot of archers and you're just starting to make skirms, you might want to do the attack first because you're probably relying on microing. But once you get, if you have a big mass of skirms, I think armor is better because then you can just walk down the archers and they hardly do damage to you. And you can just like eviscerate their force. But it's not a big deal. It doesn't matter that much. You want both of them anyway. Yeah, nice, nice, nice. Clearing out all of the yellow army there. And red, I guess red had the Was these red infantry? I don't even remember. I assume so. Because red had the infantry earlier. This is going to be a classic feudal age play. For a bit, at least. Okay, yellow is almost in castle age. So that's obviously going to be a little bit scary. Because there's probably going to be some crossbows. But most of the archers are already dead. So it's going to take a little bit of time. Funny that all the messages are in Spanish. Because I had to use Blue's save game here. Because Semper's version actually didn't work. When I tried to download the game files, there was an error. It sometimes happens. Okay, going hard after this market. I guess killing the market is fine. You can guess that red is gonna need that to go to Castle Age or whatever. So sometimes losing the market is super annoying. Blue should probably back off from this. Yeah, there's quite a lot of spears. So that was unnecessary loss of scouts, I would say, but at least getting all of red's dudes away from the wood line, so there was some value. Nice synergy anyway with skirms and scouts. And then nice micro there, dodging the crossbow shots. Obviously they don't have ballistics yet. Having a look at the vil count, as you would expect from this late game powerhouse that is SemperBlender. He has the most villagers, keeping the village production going. One of the things that I tend to not be so great at. I'm sure that will be a comment when it's time for my games to be reviewed. Okay, so we're only 50 seconds away from Castle Age, and red is further away than that. And blue is not far behind Semper either, so we're gonna have all players in Castle Age pretty soon, but red is furthest behind, not a surprise because he has taken the most damage. And it looks like our guys here are in a pretty good position. Blue taking a little stroll inside yellow's base just to see what's up, maybe kill a few woodcutters. Indeed. Nice, nice, nice. Might want to do stand ground here to focus, but on the other hand, maybe this is actually better in this situation. Yeah, just committing? No. Failing. Okay, we just have some skirms hanging out here, which I guess is fine, waiting for the upgrades before going in. Elite skirm with bodkin can, when you have this many, they can easily snipe vills, so that makes sense. And at home, we're building another TC. We have some farm space blocked by this house, but it's hard to find space on this map, so I'm not gonna be too critical about that. Not that much real estate. Oh, is he doing the trick? It's like parking his skirms out here. You know, if you park like half the force here and half the force here, then red is having half his farms instantly and constantly idled. Okay, yeah, you can kill men-at-arms with skirms here, no problem. Only 4 building the castle is a little bit ambitious, maybe? A little bit greedy? But it'll probably work out. Yeah, walling them in, that's smart. Now all you have to do is use these skirms to keep yellow's archers off of this construction site, and everything should be good. Ooh, and over here there are some yellow crossbows in blue space. Ooh, that is a lot of scouts in the queue. Holy moly. And dude is tootin'. He can't even get light cav. A little bit questionable choice, but okay. Is he pushed away from gold, maybe? Not really. He could make knights. Is he gonna switch to knights? No, it's just like hard committing to scouts. That is weird. But okay. To each their own. Semper picking up murder holes. I like it. Committing to the forward. Does he already have? He already has ballistics. He is prepared for this forward. I guess he picked up ballistics for the skirms. But this is beautiful. Then you're picking off the vills. Monastery, okay. Ooh. Blue is under some pressure, but I like this counter castle. That stops this aggression in its tracks, and paid a few villagers for it, but better to lose a few villagers than your whole base. And the boom is real from green here. 6 downsiders. No, am I counting wrong? Yeah, 5, but still. Do you really have? Yeah, I guess already on 7 villagers. If you're committing to wood and food, wooden farms, I guess. Yeah, you can keep 5 TCs going, and then you're just putting on the pressure in the front, so you're keeping red down. And then you can just boom behind. Yeah, makes sense. Blue just keeps on building Teuton. Oh, here, a knight in queue. Look at that. Alright, kind of see how this... Please scout yellow. Okay, yeah. Semper wants to know what yellow is doing. I think it's pretty clear what he's doing, though. That what he has is over here. So, yeah, there are some questionable unit choices from blue, but they're actually petarding down this castle. And I guess he is keeping the rams away. TC is down over here. Roman. Scorpions are dangerous, but castles are more dangerous. Yeah, I was about to say earlier, it's kind of clear how this is developing now. I assume both players are gonna reach towards Imp, both Yellow and Semper. The other guys are probably under too much pressure to be having the ability to go Imp, but Semper is probably... he doesn't have as much score as Yellow, technically, but he has a much better booming potential. And he also... What is the villager count? Yeah, 63 for Yellow, 85 for Green. So it's pretty clear that Semper is in a better spot going into the late game. And I guess that is why he is a strong late game player, or part of the reason. It's not just that he's good in late game, it's that he's good in the phase that takes him into late game. There's some idle TC going on right now. It must be because there's only one villager in queue and he has like 6 of them. Or was it 5? I don't remember. Another castle right here. Okay. I guess, yeah. He's thinking Trebor, probably. You want more castles to make more trebs, and he knows that he has a castle on a hill over here, so just being sure, or increasing his odds of winning that one. Ever the economical player, getting back the HP there from those skirms, and here comes the Huskarls, which will annihilate the only defense that red has. So I assume red is dead soon when we're talking Trebs and Huskarls, probably. Yeah. Makes sense, makes sense. And now we have 7 vills in queue. Nice. And yellow is still struggling here. He has lost his forward castle. 2 petards. And it was even a trickling of petards. Not even like make 10, send them all to be sure it's gonna work. But it did work. And the castle is down from yellow. I guess we're kind of just watching the slow death of red here, and then the eventual, probably quite brutal and sudden death of yellow, I would guess. Did I say yellow twice? I meant, if I did, I meant slow death of red. And I soon make Huskarl, yes. And that will obviously deal with these archers. Yeah, so yellow lost the castle, but then he went in on the flanks. And he is making some nasty work of blue's villagers. So it's not looking great for blue, but obviously it's not looking great for red either. So this is turning into more and more of a 1v1. I guess the big difference is that while red is not really, well, he has some eco up here, but while red has just a lot of issues and no real saving in sight, team blue and green has a bailout plan ready for blue here in the form of massed Huskarls. Or do we? Not that many Huskarls being made, but they have been promised, at least. Guess green really wants to kill red first, which makes sense. He probably has a feeling, looking at the score and considering his own skills in the late game, that he will be able to take yellow, even if he doesn't really have a teammate anymore. Which sometimes that's a fair enough way to look at things. Killing Scorps with Trebs is always fun. Gonna get a couple here maybe? No. There's one. Oh, almost. Fun to watch at least. Yellow is in Imp, and it does have a castle, but still there's no long-ranged siege hitting this castle. You would think yellow would have made a treb by now to take out this central part of blue space, but not yet. Okay, we have even bombard cannons from the Goths here. The Gothic gunpowder, famously. A little bit of a migration from red. Not much left for him to do. And blue is just losing and losing and losing. There's the treb that we asked for earlier. A couple of them. Blue was told to make more TCs earlier. He hasn't really done that, but I guess he didn't know exactly where to go. But here are the Huskars. Are they elite by now? Nah, but they don't really need to be. They don't take much damage from these archers anyway. Some yellow light cav. Getting too close to the Teuton castle. I don't think this castle has crenellations yet. I think that would have given more range than this. But that's okay. They get the cav anyway. Yump. Okay. Are we gonna get the sudden and brutal death of yellow yet? I don't think these light cav are gonna do all that much against 2 castles. Get a couple traps, maybe? Yeah, that's a bit of a slaughter.
Food, please. Yes.
Alright. Giving some
Yes.
economic support here. For blue to rebuild. It's a true 1v... Well, 1v1.5 maybe. Blue at least has something and he's rebuilding. Red, I guess he's also rebuilding with his, what is it, 7 villagers? Yep, 7 villagers. Very nice. But there's really nothing that compares to the green eco right now. 113 vills. Yeah, and these, are they elites? Yes, now they're elite. Now they can just walk in under castles and do whatever they want. Don't even need siege. Let's see how fast this castle goes down. Fast is the answer to that. How fast? Fast. Yep, I think the expected fast and brutal death of yellow is imminent as the Gothic hordes descend. Red is probably doing the only thing he really can here, though, making Cavalier. That could actually be trouble for this army. It's a lot of skirms, which does nothing to Cavalier. But I guess Elite Huskarl are just too good. Are these fully upgraded? Not. They do not have Imperial Tech. Maybe if they did... Well, anyway, they're actually... Yeah, they're clearing out the Huskarls. This Cavalier are taking some bombard shots, though, which is kind of tough for them. But it looks like yellow is running out of gold, and he obviously doesn't have a trading partner. Red does not have a dock, so they can't trade on the water. This is annoying, obviously. This yellow cav force is taking out the initial push, but like the switch to pikes or halbs should be pretty easy at this point. And sending in the Huskars one by one, obviously not optimal, but there should be so many, and soon there will be pikes that I think it should be fine anyway. Yeah, a little bit of grouping here, and this cavalry force should be toast. No imp upgrades still. Okay, trying the raid tactic. I get that. Some raids can put a player off balance. But I think there's enough villagers here that even if green loses some, it's not going to be that bad. Now that the halbs are in, a pure cavalry force probably is not going to do that much. Raiding a little bit down here, but this is obviously the main effort, main thing going on. If are you sleeping? Oh, he's rebooming, dude. He lost all the stuff. I don't know about waiting. Green should probably just go, go, go. Yeah, the TCs are taking care of this. Down to 81 villagers. So these raids took their toll for sure. But we have TCs and we have a few halbs. So this will be cleared up. Now it's just a matter of pumping out more vills and all should be good. Oh, so annoying. So annoying. Do something! Ooh. Getting a little aggressive here. I get the frustration, but don't have to take it out on your teammate. I don't know. I don't play team games much, so probably shouldn't talk. Maybe I'd react the same way. Getting raided is obviously frustrating. Getting this castle up though. Just houses over here, just houses over here. There's not much army from yellow. That's hard to know, obviously. Okay, there's some light cav. Okay, this is probably the end of red. He's being pushed into a corner here. I guess, to be fair, we could expect blue to do something at this point. Like what? He's thinking cav. Okay, so he's gonna go paladin, I guess. Gonna boom up to 150 villagers and then maybe make some paladins. Gotta take his time, I guess. Pikeman would probably be useful, yeah. Okay, he's listening. He's changing his tech focus here into infantry. He's not saying anything, but at least he's listening. A new raiding force is coming. Just passing. Just passing. Are there any helps at home? Looks a little scant. But the thing is, there's eco here. There's eco here. There's eco here. There's eco here. There's eco everywhere. So even if these light cav do something right here, there's actually only 91 vills. But ooh, wheelbarrow coming in. Nice. And a defensive castle to protect the farmland. I like it. Good move. Ooh. I don't know what to say about this. It's first plot twist. We're gonna raid blue instead. And then plot twist number 2. The noob move is kind of a smart move. We are ringing the town bell, which means our farms are vacated very effectively, and these cav units don't really do much damage. I'm actually tempted to say that the town bell was a good move. Okay, but at the same time, the apocalypse has commenced down here. And we are calling the GG. It wasn't quite the sudden death of yellow that I had expected. He defended himself with that cavalry quite effectively for a bit. But when you are cavalry and crossbowmen in imp against goth, spam of Halb and, well, just Halb here now actually, but it was Halb and Huskarl for a bit. Then yeah, you're in trouble. Most civs are probably in trouble against a late game goth spam, which is what's going on right now. But maybe especially someone like Italians that don't really have any power units. I guess you could argue that maybe the condos could have done something here, but it doesn't seem like that really came to mind for yellow. Is red still in this game? Come on, I need to go to bed. Red, please resign. You have 1300 points. Okay, sorry, I'm gonna speed up this one. I'm not gonna wait for red to slowly lose all his villagers. Impera! Not much Impera left here, dude. Interesting, these are... Oh yeah, it's the Romans and Italians, right, right. They are not speaking the same language. But I believe the Italians and the Byzantines pretty much are. It's kind of strange. Resign. Ooh, more name calling here, but I'll agree to this one. This is... There we are. The game is over. So obviously this was a pretty drawn out affair, and there was a lot of late game, which like we said in the beginning, not really my forte. But just to go back to the early game, which is what I'm really here to talk about, and repeat some of the things, because that has probably long ago been forgotten about at this point. So 2 houses in the beginning, probably better than 3. Only kill 1 animal at a time if you can. Sometimes it can be hard to time with the boar coming in and everything, but 1 boar and 1 sheep should be the maximum. Or 1 deer and 1 sheep if you're pushing deer. And speaking of pushing deer, there were some deer down here early, or wherever it was. Yeah, down here, I think. Which on a map like this, where you can expect there to be not that much to defend, because you can pretty easily wall off, you should probably consider pushing the deer. But then again, it turned out that Semper was going really aggressively with his infantry and feudal age, so having scouted the opponent, knowing where to hit probably makes sense. So there's a trade-off there, obviously. If you push, you don't scout. So yeah, that's a trade-off that must be considered, and some priorities that must be made. This lumber camp, sorry, the mining camp is straight up too far away. Like, I don't think there's much more to be said about that. And then there is the forest, which is all gone now, but I think this was the initial lumber camp. All of the lumber choppers should have gone here right away. Save the stragglers. The first straggler is like, yeah, okay, you can potentially take that one, but then those choppers started going off to a tree down here and a tree up here and something like that, and that's just a lot of walking. Can't have that. Can't have that. So that's like 4 takeaways for the early games. Should be pretty easy to change, and I think it will be quite significant change in resources collected if all of those things are acted upon. So that'll be the takeaway on the early game here. I hope that was a little bit useful, and potentially also interesting to see the whole game. It was a pretty cool game, so yeah, I would say seeing the whole game was fun. And some name calling always spices things up a little bit, obviously. So that's good. Good times. Till next time.